Hi, I'm Rob Brennan, and today I'm going to take you through a breathing technique to enable you to breathe more effectively. Quite honestly, as humans, we seem to have neglected the more natural and effective breathing methods. So all this technique does today is recap those with you, and it uses a process called neuromuscular activation to switch on the muscles that are responsible for more effective breathing, so that we do breathe better following this exercise. Now, I've done this exercise with hundreds of clients over many years. No matter what someone brings to me, it's always beneficial for them to breathe in a more effective way, which is why this exercise is so useful. So, the first thing you're going to do right now is simply to increase the depth of your breathing. At this stage in the exercise, you're not directed to use any particular part of your body in order to deepen your breathing. Just breathe more deeply. As you do that, I will direct you to make sure that your outward breath is longer than your inward breath. Research supports that when we breathe in this way, it facilitates and accelerates a state of relaxation being achieved. So the outward breaths are longer than the inward breaths. Some people like to hold the breath in between the inward phase and the outward phase. This is entirely optional. You can hold for 1, 2, or 3 seconds in between that inward phase and the outward phase. It is up to you. So I want you to keep breathing more deeply as I continue to talk, because the effect of that is to reoxygenate your blood, to increase the amount of oxygen that is flowing around in your body. That is extremely beneficial for a host of chemical reactions and other physiological processes and psychological processes that we don't need to go into now. All you need to know is that breathing more deeply is very effective to help you to relax, to balance, to think, and even to heal. So the first directive breathing is I want you to think about your diaphragm area. So that's the area of your lower abdomen. There is a sheet of muscle there called the diaphragm, and when we breathe, if we activate that, it will allow us to take in more air and to take that air in more deeply into our body. So focus on your diaphragm now. That means as you breathe in, your diaphragm will lift. Your stomach will balloon outwards. As you do that and allow that to happen, feel the air rushing into your lungs much more deeply than it ordinarily would. Now, if we observe babies asleep or children breathing gently and naturally, we are very likely to see the stomach rising and falling. But as adults, often we have neglected that very simple muscular breathing process, and our breathing has become more shallow and less effective. So by activating the diaphragm now, it is called neuromuscular activation. It is actually switching on the muscles used in that type of breathing, so that after the session, our breathing will be deeper and more effective without even giving it any conscious thought. Make sure the outward breaths are still, long, and relaxed as you practice your diaphragmatic breathing. And now, I want you to try a different type of directed breathing. I want you to think about your upper chest. Now, the ribs are separated in our body, and there are tiny muscles called intercostal muscles that actually control the ribs. They can lift the rib cage a little bit. So now, as you breathe in, I want you to imagine all those tiny muscles lifting your ribs. That will allow more air into your lungs. It will allow an expansion of your upper chest, You might even find your shoulders retract a little bit. All of that will increase the volume of your chest cavity and mean that more air can flow into your body. So I want you to do that style of breathing now. Feel the air traveling into your upper chest. And again, make sure that when you exhale, it is a prolonged and controlled outward phase. Now you have two types of directed breathing to practice. As I continue to talk, I want you to continue to do one or other of those two styles of breathing. Now, the third style of breathing may be something that you've never consciously done before, and I want you to breathe into your back. Any actor or singer will probably be familiar with this type of breathing, or indeed anyone who needs to project their voice for any particular reason. Breathing into your back is a surprising way of getting even more air into your body. So I want you now to focus on your mid-back. There are some large muscles in the back that will help with this process, and we don't need to know what they're called, only that they are there. They will pull the ribs back, allowing more space in the chest cavity and improving the effectiveness of our breathing. So try that now. As you inhale, focus on those big back muscles in your mid-back and imagine the air just flowing in and even further in. The interesting thing about breathing into the back is that when you think you can't take in any more air, you can always get in just that little bit more. So try it now. Breathe into your back. You know that you're getting back breathing right when your chest doesn't rise particularly and your diaphragm is fairly still, yet you're still breathing deeply and taking on board a lot of air. So there is not one breathing style that is better than any of the others. We need all of these muscles for effective breath. But by switching on each muscle group individually, as we have done now, that process is called neuromuscular activation. Well, those muscles will continue to fire after completing this short exercise. As I've already mentioned, that will translate into better breathing. That will mean that in an unconscious level, you're simply breathing more effectively for the rest of the day, for the rest of the week if you start every day with this, for the rest of your life if you regularly engage with this breathing exercise. So, this exercise is a fantastic and very versatile exercise. There are many forms of meditation that center simply around the breath and an awareness of the breath. So if you feel like it, you can stop any time of day and take a few deep breaths. You can close your eyes and focus on your breath, and that can form a type of meditation for you. Also, this type of breathing exercise can be performed in the morning, simply to reoxygenate your body, to switch on those breathing muscles to allow you to have a more oxygenated body for the whole day and all of the benefits that that brings. You can do it at night before you fall asleep, because of course, providing more oxygen into your body is going to go hand in hand with relaxation. And finally, if you need to, this breathing exercise, which doesn't have to be done in full, you can simply do a couple of diaphragmatic breaths or a couple of deep upper chest breaths or into the back if you ever feel triggered or upset or anxious or worried in any way. This type of breathing exercise can be a fantastic metaphorical firefighting exercise so you can use that to calm down, to down-regulate your nervous system in order to enable you to feel better afterwards. So as you continue to breathe now, I will leave you to practice that exercise. You can do it for as long as you wish. You can do it again later. It is up to you. But that will significantly enhance your breathing. It will significantly enhance the level of oxygen within your body. And I would highly recommend doing it regularly. Thank you for listening.